as we're talking, we can just like slowly get into the topic. So I'm recording now. So hey, hi to the.
You didn't you didn't start recording the banter? Wow.
Yeah, unfortunately, I forgot to record that one. But don't worry.
We can,
There's
we can go
there's
from like
much.
Groove of War 2 to like the most current episode.
All the way.
And,
Damn, I haven't
well,
been around.
to be fair, in Wargroove 2 it was like much harder, or Groove of War 2. It's much harder to front switch because of how maps are made and how trebs are and terrain, and I think it'd just be good to point this out. So
Yeah, I guess before double trouble and
that's why I
stuff.
mentioned that.
Yeah, good idea.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't watch a single game from Groove of War 2.
Actually, I think I actually partake in it.
But I feel like we could just pull something up.
Yeah, I'm gonna find some videos. Okay, so have you watched any games Disobeyed about Groove of War 2?
No, I've had to worry about my own personal studies.
Damn, none of us are educated about the topic. We can't talk about this. Okay, let's go to Groove of War 3.
I mean, we're just
Wait.
talking about switching it.
Wait, Sneaky what? Sneaky what?
There
Sneaky
is a
what?
famous game. There is a famous game. I think it was Ash versus Koilas. It should still be on the Groove of War channel.
Ash
That
versus.
game had a massive front switch using Caesar. We could use that to talk about it.
There we go. Some input. That's great. Okay. All right. So that's great, but we actually haven't seen the match yet. So I think you have to go. I think you have to go be the lead in this,
Why are
Sneaky.
you letting it not work?
So do you have anything important to say about front switching in Wargroove 1.3 before Double Trouble? Did it change before and after the Pike? Pike. I guess nerf. Is it? Yeah, I think it was nerf, not buff.
Yeah.
I mean, I have no idea. I wasn't playing.
Yeah. So
Pikes went increased by 100 gold and dogs decreased by 500, and yeah, I wasn't playing either.
yeah. Sneaky, you were playing, right? And you also saw the match you were talking about, right?
Oh, heck no. I wasn't here until after GW3. I just happened to see that match because it was instructive and had my doggo in it.
Okay, I guess I'm the only one who played in the pre-Spear
Yeah.
era. So Groove War wise, I haven't watched much of those matches, so I can say much. Yeah, Saykoya? Did you want to say
No, I
something?
mean, technically I did play before like 2.0, but I was bad at the time, so...
You were like lurking. You were like not talking, but like you were just around.
No, I was like I was just bad. So I like you asked me about front switching. Then I'm like I barely understood how to play the game.
Yeah, I think we can relate to that. At least I can, for sure. So pikes are very
I mean,
important.
Front switching is like it's not a very beginner strat, right? We can start by that.
Yeah, of
At
course.
like the most basic level. What is it?
Yeah, of course. I mean, front switching, it really depends on the map and the situation. So in the beginning, people I think are going more for deal as much damage to the army as you can, and they don't really care about defense. So there's not really front switching in the early learning stages of Wargroove gameplay. But then once you move a little bit higher and you become intermediate, it becomes an interesting thing because it's not just about dealing damage suddenly, it's also about how to prevent your stuff from being damaged too.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
When I was new, there was this whole thing of the army I would make. It was almost purely knights and mages.
Shoe style. Yeah.
It's like it was high movement, and sure, this one unit could get here and there, and technically it's good for front switching, but I'm new to the game, so I'm just going to run into things. I'm not going to recognize when I have an advantage of my units will get here sooner or later. And with that army, it's like, part of front switching is you need a threat if you're going to front switch, because
Yeah.
you hold, like, if you contest this area, you're pretty much saying, I want the game to stall in this situation for a turn or two. If you front switch, you're like, I believe I can gain more advantage than you can retake from me leaving this space. And it's like something that takes better like calcing skills pretty much.
That's a good way to put it, yeah. It's also very important how mobile the army is. not just how big it is and how much space there is, of course. Saykoya, you love balloons, so talk about balloons and front switching, because they go hand to hand.
I mean, their best unit in the game, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Especially when we are discussing a topic like this, you can't really front switch if you have like like pikes only. Like you can go like 2 tiles each turn. Like what you can do, you can like retreat, but like you can't move your stuff. So I guess
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, the way I see it, there's like two main ways that you go about a front switch. There's like the first way where you see one area isn't like defended, so you send more stuff at it to take it. That's a front switch.
Hmm.
You see some things like not defended or like lightly defended, and then because you send troops at it, generally the opponent either loses the stuff or he has to also send stuff there, or he has to respond in some way or another. The second way is like you concentrate stuff where it is already defended, but because you send more over there, you basically go, I'm
You
gonna win the fight over here, and you see how the opponent reacts. And I think usually with the second way, it happens more with pike balloon stuff like that, because when you do that, you need to go into an area that will start a fight. So,
in
like the most
yeah.
obvious example would be go for the HQ. That's like a very straightforward one.
Oh
You go
yes.
for the HQ with your army that's like pikes, and then the opponent has to come fight you.
It's a very interesting point you brought up about the rushing the HQ, or like not rushing, but like moving your stuff to the HQ. That kind of decreased in numbers after Double Trouble. So I'm wondering if there's a link between the update of the units, pikemen, and the fact that, or it's just like a map thing that we got like better maps since then that don't really allow HQ rushing. Um, do you think that HQ rushing is a map problem or a balance problem of the units that you can buy? As in, like, not
I mean, you're
not
not
extreme
talking
cases.
about it like in a problem. Yeah,
I guess it's not a like,
am I
problem, but like,
okay?
yeah. Like, not a problem, but like, I guess it can be an aspect of the map if it's not overly done, right?
Yeah, in my opinion, it
No,
definitely
I
depends.
was more talking about like what you do as a player. You rush the HQ. That was what I meant by HQ rush.
Oh, okay, so it's understood. Yeah, you disobeyed?
Yeah, to pretty much Saykoya lands on what I was going to say, but well, the map obviously matters. Like, it's easier to HQ rush on Rohan Road than compared to like a survival map or just like a general map that's built like. It also matters on game state
Mm-hmm.
because when I feel like it's much easier to just HQ rush and not get punished for it on like turn 7 than it would be on like turn 17 because armies have built up and you're going to be able to defend it, but not like in return for that like a pretty much front switch onto pressuring their HQ. You also take away units from your HQ, and so there's this entire pressure of okay, they'll threaten a one-turn lethal on your HQ now, and put just enough units to defend them getting one turn that you now have to defend your HQ, and ultimately, your units look kind of stupid here. They're going back and forth just to defend a threat that you made, and now you've lost space for it.
Gotcha.
Like
So,
it's kind of a game state and more of a player thing than I'd say a map or balance thing.
so it's definitely more prevalent, or like it has a bigger impact the sooner it is done. You're saying, in a way?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it depends on what's happening. Like, if they've left it open and you've got a lot of units, obviously, then you might be able to just punish them for that because of how many units you have. But also in the early stages, you might make this threat. Doesn't mean you're gonna actually use it, you're just forcing units over here because they're like 1 unit on turn 5 is more important than 1 unit on like turn 10, where you're gonna have like 25 units.
Yeah, and what you're saying like goes right into what Saykoya said about Terry being a early game commander.
Yeah. Yeah, the other thing is the commander definitely matters. Like Nero and Orla with Groove, and Groove has already been popped on like the infamous.
Oh, they were dangerous in that tiny map.
Where by turn 3, 2 sides are open.
I hated that.
Commander's gonna have a much easier time getting to your HQ than say, like, Boulder by the time it's the late game.
Yeah, people always chat that with me. People always HQ rush me because they don't want to fight me. Like, why? I get so sad when there's like such a good game going, like a huge fight about to happen, and then bam, the game is over because they just attacked my HQ, which they can because I was silly and I left it open. But like I was so excited about the fight about to happen. You know?
Were you playing Sedge when this happened?
Yeah.
This happened like 15 times, so I can't really give you the exact answer. But I
know
was.
I did it to you one time because you were playing Sedge, and it's like, he has. Not only can he play endgames, he is the endgame commander.
Yeah, so you have to like, yeah. I guess that makes sense because.
And I was like, kind of can't just let you do that because you're going to lose.
Yes, unfortunately.
This was like 2 years ago. I've gotten a lot better since then, but I was still pretty bad.
Yeah, and I think Psycho actually made me lose a tournament game doing this. I was like, ready, okay, I'm going to destroy him like this and that, and I'm like, oh wait, what's he doing? Oh no! I saw like the wagon come out. He put Terry inside, and he just went down to my HQ. I'm like, oh my god, no way! He's going to end the game.
That reminds me though.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
There's actually a sneaky video where there was this map and you had given up air control and water control.
I've given up air control?
In return, you had a huge army to take advantage of the fact you were Sedge to eat up the army, basically, to get to their
Oh
HQ.
yeah.
Which map was that?
Sneaky video of like it's on Butterfly, right?
Oh, Butterfly. I love Butterfly. Yes, that is a great place.
I want to say it's a very subtle example of front switching, but essentially it's more so you focus on this front rather than that front, because like one of the points we were going to try and talk about, what are your objectives? Like, what's going to win you the game at the end of the day? And for that map,
Yeah.
you were going to win on land much quicker than you were on air or water.
Yeah, that's true. Front switching on that map.
Like come back on.
Yeah.
Can I come back on something you said?
Yeah.
Or,
of course.
Like I think you said something like, I mean, probably you didn't mean it that way, but you were saying front switching is more effective early than later. I think not really like necessarily true.
But that's what I like assume Disobeyed said. But he might not have like meant that. That might just have been my mistake.
Yeah. It is harder to do later, like as the game goes later, but I think it's still like pretty effective.
Yeah, because I think the example I used was in like threatening the HQ, and it's not more effective now or then. It's game dependent or game state dependent, but it has a bigger immediate effect in the early game than the late game, because just 2 knights threatening the HQ is 2 units that you can immediately move elsewhere that might take like a sword or 2 swords, and sometimes that's not even enough to defend against it. They need more than that.
I'm really glad Butterfly came up because that is a very interesting map in regards to front switching. Like it's kind of like a horizontal map, not like like a normal northeast southwest thing. It's a bit shifted. It's a bit strange, but I love it. That's why I love it.
It's a very big map.
It's a huge map. I think it was made by Zedronix, right? I think
so.
Yeah. Wow, it's so good. Okay, let's go to a point brought up by Titam. The importance of controlling the center. Any comments about that?
Yeah, I think that's. I mean, when you wanna usually there's one person that's front switching, the other one is responding to it. I mean, when you front switch, you usually force a response.
Yeah.
Anyways, but yeah, center is pretty important for that because, I mean, moving through the map is faster if you do it in the middle, and front switching is about like suddenly moving in an I mean not I guess an unexpected way is a good way to put it.
Unexpected
Or
way.
like a way they can't like fight effectively.
That's kind of the goal.
I mean, you front switching, you quickly move like either a few units or like an entire chunk of your army. You move, you see the reaction, and then you go after what's left that's weak. Basically, if you have the center when you front switch, you can decide what to do after the front switch happened. So basically, I mean, there's an like if you go center, you put pressure everywhere, so the opponent has to choose what to defend, and then because you're in the middle, in the center, you can go where he's not defending as much, or you can go where he's making mistakes in his defense.
Yeah, this is kind of
And
like
because
hard
you get
to
to
vocalize.
pick where you fight, it's really good for you.
Yeah. This is why this topic is like interesting to talk about because we have this in our head, right, as we play, but like to actually vocalize it, it's it's a bit of a challenge. But we can, I guess, get started on getting close to what we are trying to portray based on what we actually do. Um, let's see what else we can see. Sneaky, you've been kind of quiet this whole time. Anything you want to add about anything we talked about? Anything interesting?
So, I guess just to add on something Saykoya said.
Yeah.
This is something Saykoya does very well, and I do very poorly.
Ooh.
Which is why my front switches tend to be, put it bluntly, bad.
I'm listening.
Saykoya was saying it's all about moving unexpected, but I think an even better word than unexpected is fast and efficient, and I think that's also what Saykoya was getting at, because if you move through the center, you can do something in one turn that would take 3. If you're taking 3 turns to rotate your army, that's 2 turns your army is doing absolutely nothing, and your opponent just has plenty of time to walk away, or take more villages, or do whatever they want. My front switches are always either slow or inefficient, or they don't leave enough army behind, which is another issue. Which is why I can talk about the ways not to do a front switch.
Oh yeah, you told me that.
But yeah, it's sort of important that you do it quickly and efficiently, so that your opponent has to respond to it immediately on their next turn. They don't have any time to react. They don't have any time to take more games.
Do you
That's sort of
think?
the idea behind front switch.
Do you think this is just because you buy much less balloons and wagons than Saykoya?
Nah, I'm just bad at this particular thing.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's like, oh,
I'm just different.
Nah, I'm just bad.
different.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's see what else.
I
Yeah, yeah.
A good example of an important center though is Life in 19 by 19, where the
Fetus.
whole thing is the center is it's surroundable, but if you have like say armies are equal and you're able to control a mountain in like two of the 4 of the flag zone tiles, then just by controlling the center there, you have this like passive threat on the HQ, which to add to it, like front switching for you is much easier. However, for your opponent they almost can't because they need to worry about their HQ because it's directly connected to the center pretty much when like knights get into the center.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Yes, Saykoya?
I think the center on 19. Yeah, I want to say the center on 19 by 19 is like it's kind of OP on 19 by 19 to have the center because when you're in the center, you have like 3 things that are really good together. You have the good terrain from the
the flagstone. Yeah.
You have the HQ pressure because the HQ is in range of the center.
Super close, yeah.
But also there's some villages on both sides that you can pressure just from standing on the middle. And I think like the one aspect that you have to watch out for when you're front switching or when you're grabbing the center or when you want to make dynamic plays in general is that if you're not fast enough or like efficient enough, your opponent will be more spread out than you, so he can control more villages. And so if you're not fast enough or efficient, you're gonna take more losses than you're gonna gain.
Okay, so both Sneaky and Saykoya, and I guess Disobeyed, but Sneaky and Saykoya especially saying that speed is a key thing in front switching. So like, I guess efficient speed, not just like moving stuff like randomly, haphazardly, but like actually think about stuff as fast as you can. So like efficiently think about stuff while not taking like an hour per swordsman, right? So you have to be fast. That's very important, right?
No, I'm talking mostly in terms of turns, really.
Oh, yeah, like, I guess turn rise, yeah. But like, let's say you have like a 45 minutes timer. Like, are you gonna prioritize the front switching, or are you going to just try to play out the game? Or like, I guess, wait, no, that's not how I say
It
it.
really depends.
Yeah, cause yeah.
The most
Yeah.
unsituational situation I can think of,
On situation.
probably slightly more front switching,
Hmm.
but it's more like front switching towards my aggressive side. That's like not on defense.
I mean, I like front switching, so I would front switch more, I guess.
I like
But
front switching.
some people don't really like front switching. They like securing everything little by little. And that's kind of the two ways you can play the game, I guess.
Yeah, I'm more towards the latter play style. I only front switch when like it's something I need to do, but I'm not as good at it, and I prefer generally a different strategy. But I think that's separate from speed. What we're talking about with speed is, for
Speed.
example, if you move your entire army to the left side of the map, you could be giving up the whole right side of the map. So how do you not do that, right? How do you front switch without giving up the whole right side of the map? Well, part of it is if you put a lot of pressure on your opponent, they have to respond on the left side. They can't go taking the right side right now. So if you do it really fast and create a lot of pressure, you can keep the right side safe that way. On the other hand, if you move all your units to the left side and don't create any pressure, aka what I do every single time, then your opponent just takes the right side, and it doesn't really matter what happens, you're going to lose.
This is actually
I think
exactly what I was
something
thinking
else
of.
that's pretty
Yeah.
important, like the speed aspect is
Yes,
also
please.
pretty important because in Wargroove, like if you give your opponent the time to prepare, they can counter any play you make, basically. So if you take 3 turns to make your front switch, then your opponent will have like their formation over there already ready, and it's gonna be a bad fight for you. You're gonna lose. But if you do it in 1 turn, then they kind of have to scramble and get like whatever unit can get there the fastest, and that means their formation will not be a good setup, and you can actually attack into it.
Okay, so speed is definitely a key part, just in very different aspects, and in aspects which are difficult to grab the specifics of. But we are getting close, guys. This is exactly what I was imagining. So good job. We are slowly scratching the surface of what goes on inside the mind. Disobeyed. Anything you want to say about this?
Not really.
About the speed stuff and the front switching and like the efficiency of
Yeah.
over.
I mean, yeah, they definitely have a point. It's like a dragon can front switch over like mountains, forests, and just in general faster than a golem can. But in return, like a dragon is more for the assassination player, which that would be Sneaky here, whose entire name is SneakyDragon. Like dragons are more of this very get to the front line quick, so I can have pressure now, so it is easier to front switch because sometimes you don't. It's not about front switching your entire army. Sometimes it's about front switching these units for this threat now. And I feel like Dragon's a really good unit for that because, like, to grab Quaint,
Oh,
for
yeah.
instance, you build a dragon in 1 turn. It's already defending where the opposing commander can be. And then the next turn it can go over the mountains and be threatening their HQ or to decap either of their Raxes because over on roads.
Makes
I've
sense.
been nerfed in Wargroove too.
Oh, the Sneaky dropping some spoilers. I'm gonna have to edit that out. That
That's
Sneaky
not
dro-
I wish I
spoiler,
even
like,
Oh.
that was in the
The demos,
original
wasn't the
promotional
demos.
material.
I wish I even understood what you meant. I don't pay enough attention.
Oh no, okay.
Dragons were nerfed.
Dragons were nerfed, apparently.
Damage, which one?
Was it dragons or was it the Sneaky himself being nerfed? That's the question.
They do like
I
their
guess the
crit
brand.
was like they do a regular damage crit instead of ×2 now, and they do
Oh.
10 commanders. I think was the nerf.
Oh wow, that is significant.
They hit the
Oh,
crit
the
too?
regular crit is not needed. No, that's in a
That-
game
that-
where we're
I
getting
mean,
rid of pretty much
they
all the
still
RNG.
one-shot everything.
Oh.
Why
Come
that
on.
RNG? Why does the one unit that has the most hype clips have to be the one with RNG?
Well,
Gotta
RNG's
be
What? There's
gone.
no RNG. You mean?
RNG's gone.
No, I mean like before their crit was ×2, now it's ×1.5. That's what I mean.
Okay, I heard it as it's varied now, and that's what confused me.
Wait.
No.
I think I misunderstood. Sneaky, you said
1.5 makes more sense when it comes to commander summons, but
wait, Sneaky, you said RNG is gone?
It said, did you play the
Yeah.
demo?
yeah,
What?
There's
yeah,
no
all
RNG.
RNG is gone.
It was
Even
in the
in
public
even in
demo.
PvP, in the
What?
there was like
Except for
RNG.
Nadia Groove.
We've
Why
been
am I?
talking about this for months.
Why am I only finding this out now? This changes everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's been
no,
living
those
under
are
a
either
rock.
confirmed or
Wow.
useless now.
Okay,
Wow.
This changes everything. Wow, okay, I have not expected that. Well, that is good to know. That's gonna hype things up.
I mean, that's going to be great for Edge if the
Oh,
groove works similarly.
I'm honestly
Oh,
not
yeah,
sure. But it might be, because I really love RNG in some of my plays. But I guess we'll see. I can adopt.
We'll say,
That's
though,
true. That's
it-
true.
it
But
is-
like, I've
it's
stopped
gonna be-
using RNG in tournaments because it's just not consistent.
Do you guys think the viewers of the future Groove of War matches will enjoy that? That it is no RNG? Or will they cry for it? To be brought back?
I mean,
Because it kind of like made the game interesting,
has
right?
Its good and it's got its good and its evils. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
I have been playing a lot of matches against Snake, and I don't think I can point out just how many times in the past 4 matches RNG has decided to low roll the most important hit of the game. I do.
I think everyone got
Max
screwed
a
over.
low roll so that it doesn't kill and so I don't win. And that that's what happens to me a lot. So
Yeah, I totally get you. Those key parts when you have to, get the perfect roll on the spearman to break the formation and they leave it 1%. It messes up your whole formation. Yes.
I will say that we will no longer have the 1% meme, but
Yeah, unfortunately.
I feel like we've gone for quite a bit afterwards because I remember
I
Bear had mentioned
will
once-
gladly give up the 1% meme
Yeah.
for not having RNG mess up my games anymore.
Yeah.
Thanos
And
would
I
say.
think
It'll be
from
nice
from the
when the
perspective
one
of someone who benefits a lot from RNG.
Yeah, you've probably benefited from it the most in like tournaments, outside of
I
maybe
think it'll-
Shu and that one against Ronix.
It'll be
RNG
nice,
is-
though, that now a knight at 99% can't 99% crit in a village from 105,
Oh, yeah, everything.
or for balloons and mages because it's also 105, or for sword rolls on roads against thieves. I think those things are definitely important because one of the matches I went against Invec during Groove of War 7, I believe it was all because of a failed roll of a sword hitting a thief on a road.
Right.
RNG is this
Yo,
like
but now you can hit a village and not worry about your unit getting absolutely destroyed if you fail.
Yeah, I remember Barrett had talked about that a few years ago where their opponent had gone for 3 village rolls they got every single roll. They're trying to do the same rolls and none of them work.
Now dogs are safer
think
to
it's-
decap.
Like I think for like a proper year before Wargroove 2 came out, we just started all advocating for no RNG on Village, please. Would appreciate it. Thank you.
It
Yeah,
seems they listened.
I jumped on that bandwagon too, even though I was on Team RNG. Because the
Uh,
village thing was just ridiculous. That didn't add anything to the game.
But with Dragon's nerf, the Commander road is no longer that scary.
Oh,
Oh,
I mean, it's
Put
30
it
damage
this
is 30
way.
damage.
Yeah, but that's not 80 damage. I mean, that's more than 2.5 times like less threatening now. That's gonna change a lot of
80 damage
plays.
now is what is like 60. It definitely hurts
No,
that you can
45.
no longer. Oh, it's that
Yeah,
bad.
45.
Do they cost the same? Wait, do they cost
So
the same?
putting your commander on road in front of a dragon is no longer violating rule number
You're
one.
telling me the one thing that would make the most sense to be dangerous is now not dangerous at all now.
Yes, getting
You're telling
barbecued
me
by
a
a dragon
normal
is
golem
as dangerous and no
100
more than getting charged by knights.
Yeah, but
No,
also you don't counterattack the
might have
dragon, you
to
know?
get that. Yeah, no, if it was like 80 to 60, it's understandable, but to 45, I mean, is there almost, like, when you're dealing with a commander now, is there almost no reason not to buy a golem?
I don't know how.
Golem nerfed too.
Whoa, Sneaky is just
but what-
merciless with these freaking spoilers. Just back to back, bam, bam.
These aren't.
It's fine. Look,
I know, I'm the only one. I'm the only one who's
Hey,
annoyed.
We're not. We're also not doing this live.
here's
we
what
don't
you
have to do.
Disobeyed. Disobeyed. You see a commander you don't want to be there, you build a frog.
I can't wait to use the frogs. I love the frogs in the demo.
The second I build so many maps, you don't know how I'm immediately banning trebs, and I am going to ban frogs on quite a few.
Don't ban frogs, please don't. Do it.
No, don't ban frog.
Yeah, don't ban frogs. Come on now.
Ban
broken.
Let's be civil about this, right?
For the first 3 maps I make, if a port is not anywhere close to the center, I will let them be. Or if there's not walls. But for Ashen Meadow, I am not allowing frogs in any capacity.
They changed the mathematical possibilities of everything. You need the frogs.
Changed how Ashen Meadow works.
They're so expensive. Come on.
Wait, how much? How?
Are insanely broken.
So, frogs are only 700 gold, right?
700. What? That's expensive.
650.
650. Okay.
Yeah, please. No.
So that's like a rifleman.
If it's 50 over a
Rifle is
uh,
750.
RP,
Yeah.
and it's as damaging as a rifle when it comes to wall breaks. Especially since rifles got nerfed in a very good way that me and Cat thoroughly tested.
Wait,
Which
I don't know about the. Hold on. Were rifle? I don't remember rifles in the demo. What's going on?
you don't remember
Rifles
the-
has a
okay.
change where like
So, no, let me ruin it
Yeah,
for
it's
Sedgehun
right.
this time.
No.
Basically, rifles, they still have the same range and everything. However, they can only shoot the
Don't
first
tell me they removed rifles.
enemy.
Okay.
Oh, right. I forgot that.
You want to know what that means?
I do.
An air unit or a unit in a forest means that entire line cannot get shot.
Wait, what? So now,
Yeah, me and Cat tested it. If a rifle,
so there's like body blocking now.
yes,
Oh.
Yeah.
there was effectively body blocking because you know the meme where it's 4 swords surround the unit in the air. You only see a shadow, and they're like, "Yeah, we got him now." Pretty much, that's
Yes,
what
okay.
happens for rifles.
Okay.
now.
Okay.
A
That's
unit in the sky, it can't even see. Now makes it not be able to hit a sword that's 2 tiles away from it.
I don't know how I feel about
okay,
that.
but
Yeah, I think it's
actually,
fine. I'll match
actually,
it.
it's a rifle buff because now you can't like shoot the rifle with the rifle.
Do you guys?
Right.
What?
I wonder if they will still be banned. You guys think? You guys think they will still be banned in tournaments? Rifles?
I mean, I'll
We'll
listen.
see. I don't know. Maybe they
Yeah.
changed again.
I have a feeling Grove or 9.
Probably
So-
still banned 'cause they do a
mean,
million
if they-
damage, but
If they
whatever.
buff the damage out of nowhere for some reason, we're keeping rifles banned on maps. I think that is very fair to say.
I have a feeling that the next Grove 4 will be insanely chaotic until we figure out the meta of the game. Like,
The
I
Grove-
think that's a question for another podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah.
yeah, we moved on completely from
Probably
the.
eventually get back on point to front switching.
Yeah, we completely moved on.
Yeah.
Granted.
Who talked about dragons?
No,
like that?
we
Who
went to
said
like
Hilda?
yeah, we completely moved on. Okay, but honestly, nah, this is how these things go. All right, I guess I'm gonna bring up.
But okay, I have the perfect segue back onto topic.
Yeah.
Using dragons.
Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah, let's do it.
So,
A dragon is a good it's a good way to make an analogy of a front switch where basically you have your dragon, you only look at the enemy anti-air, so you see mages on the right, mages in the middle, you don't see mages on the left. Your dragon front switch is over there. That's the basic idea.
yeah, because they're so fast, you can like demonstrate the concept with
Yeah.
just a single unit. All right.
They can go on they hit one thing and maybe two if the mages are take too long to get there, and then you can go somewhere else.
Yep. And the threat itself. Okay. So okay. Wait. Actually, let's move on to the specific question. I guess not question, but like topic was what army composition do you build to allow for front switching to occur? So do you need to like optimize your composition, or you can just like improvise?
balloons.
Balloons for sure, yeah.
For movement, if you can't.
No,
fit
I
balloons,
think it's
mages
just-
are good, and other units that are bad.
Balloons, absolutely. I love them. So that's like, oh yeah.
I think every unit can work, but if you have infantry, you need to have balloons with them, I guess.
Yeah,
It's
that or
it's
they
not
have to
really
be- They have to be positioned in a way where they can front switch. In which case, if they're positioned to front switch, you're already creating this weakness that is important to, like, defend. So,
Well, front switching means
I mean-
you will have a front somewhere else, which is normal, which means you need spearmen to have walls, right? So spearmen. Like you need that. Like you can't really
I
have a
think
front.
it's simpler to answer the question by looking at the opposite. Like what's the what like when does your army comp have a comp that doesn't allow you to front switch?
Oh,
I
good.
think that's simpler.
Yeah,
because it's
yeah.
basically most of your units don't have a lot of move, and you don't have transport for them. That's like the two conditions for not being able to front switch. If you have one of them cleared, you can front switch.
Yeah, that makes sense.
More
That
or
makes sense.
less.
This is what Saykoya does against me. He did against me. With Terry, he just like messed up one of my mages, and now his dragon is like completely free. Or was it like the opposite? Did he mess up my dragon with his mage? I don't know actually. But he messed me up with like
I
taking out.
probably did both.
Yeah, probably But yeah, taking out key units means you don't even have to care about that. You can just move in. If your front is in a good enough position to do that. Where was I going with this? Hold up.
Mm,
In the meantime, may someone talk about something? It's awkward.
uh,
Let me
I
think
I
about it.
will
how-
say can I just say before we move on, if you want
Yeah.
a front switch mid to late game, usually you're gonna need to have an army that fights better than your opponents, because when you're front switching, because you're going fast, your formations are gonna be bad. That's just how it is. Because you're the one moving, your formation is gonna be bad. So your units have to be better at fighting than your opponents if you want to front switch later in the game. Which means that actually, yeah, spears are pretty good for a front switch because they are like the unit that is better at fighting
Yes,
that
exactly.
other unit.
Yeah, plus to like make sure your fronts can be penetrated, right? It's important. I think we went over the most important stuff. Was there anything like specific that we had to like unwrap? Like something very important? Because it's slipping my tongue right now. I know there was something else.
Yeah.
There was like something you guys talked
There's
about in the
Mm,
channel.
something I was gonna say and I don't remember it right now.
Yeah, it's so late. We like forget half the stuff we actually need to talk about. But we will do our best. Let
Oh,
just
my thing was it depends on both army comms and not just how fast is yours, but like your control of an area of how much can you continue to control. Like if you already have 3 pikes in an area, but like your front switch crosses enough pressure where they have to pull some of their army away, and you just leave like good defensible units in an area. If the villages are close enough to each other, you don't really have to worry about a threat they can make with like 2 or 3 more expensive units, but are ultimately like they have 2 knights and a sword, but you've got 3 pikes. If your pikes just can't get crit, and you can effectively punish them trying to take your villages because they're close enough to each other, then like you're fine. Or like how close your production is to the like where you're trying to. Because I don't know where I'm going with this, but like front switching is like a very tricky medium of
it's
getting
some.
pressure, but also like maintaining like map control and maintaining your eco.
Though yeah.
yeah,
It's just
you're
hard.
making me think like, I mean, front switching is basically it's a way to create instabilities on the map. So, and when you create instabilities, your opponent has to respond to them. And I think usually either you're gonna gain stuff because you've spotted a good moment to front switch, or if I think when you're behind, front switching is actually very important because it's one of the ways you force the opponent to make mistakes.
Oh.
So yeah, when you front switch, the opponent has to respond, and then you basically watch his response very closely for any mistakes you can see, and then you just try to punish for that mistake, and
So
that's generally how you come back from behind.
so what you're saying
Yeah.
is whoever front switches first dictates the game in a way.
Probably.
Well, I mean, in theory, yes, but you can't. So first, you can't always front switch,
Yeah, of course, yeah.
and second, front switching isn't always a win because it does cost stuff to front switch,
Yeah,
like
so
we discussed earlier, like when we were talking about speed.
should we talk about the determining the optimal moment to front switch in a game, or is that like too complex and game dependent to talk about?
I mean,
No, I think
there's
we
a
can
main
talk about that.
principle to it.
What do you guys think? Because I need to think about how I'm gonna vocalize this.
We can,
I
yeah,
mean, it's part of what I was
we
planning on
can think
talking
of
about
like
anyway, so
examples.
I have like thought already built up, but like, to go to what I actually said way earlier
Yeah.
is it's how much do I gain if I stay here compared to if I front switch to try and take space, but in return, how much would I lose, or how long would it take me to take said space?
So you're like giving up something, right? Like you have to.
Yeah, like how it also matters how contested is one area to the other. Like if both areas are very contested, and like it's not necessarily one side is winning in terms of HP or unit cost or unit count, front switching might often, even if it's just 1 turn or 2 turns, it can be very like detrimental to your position because your opponent is if both sides are immediately contesting each other, they're already ready to take your villages, and you are already ready to take their villages if either of you moved away. So it definitely matters on, like, do you have time to do even one turn of movement? And then do you have enough space to where you're not punished for it immediately?
Yeah, I like what you're saying. I think it made me think of like the three general situations where you want to front switch. So the first one would be when you see your opponent doesn't have, like, for example, you look at your opponent's army, you see on one side there's no units that can take villages fast because, like, controlling space is nice and all, but if you don't control the villages, you don't actually gain much from it. So if you see, for example, there's no knight or dragon on one side, you can basically abandon that side and send everything to the other side and say, I'm gonna win your side faster than you'll win mine because you don't have the right units to do that. And then, like, if they only have pikes on that side, you just move to the other side, get some money, and then buy a golem
Get some money.
later to defend the side you abandoned.
I like
That's
how
like the first situation.
I like how you just like put
Yeah.
the step, get some money, like that. Like, hey, just get money. Simple.
I mean,
Just go get.
I'm not
just
gonna
go-
tell you
Yeah, yeah,
everything, bro.
yeah. No. Of course. Let's say a situation where you are winning a game, but you have much less time than the opponent, and you're not sure if you can secure the game in the same strategy that you were doing in 3 minutes, because you have 3 minutes on the timer, and the opponent has like 10 minutes. In that situation, when the armies are quite big, we are talking about like end game here. It's a huge army. Is it still worth it to risk a front switch, which could secure the win in the time that you have, or should you just like in that time when you only have that amount of time, should you just continue with what you were doing previously? Like, is it worth changing your fronts?
In
I mean,
when you
if you don't
timer,
have
you
if you
probably
don't have enough
that time.
timer, if you don't have enough timer and you're gonna lose because you don't have enough timer,
Yeah, but like maybe
then,
maybe the
like, you
situation.
always have to go for DHQ. That's pretty simple.
Yeah, but let's
'Cause
say
if you
like
don't go for DHQ,
Like,
then the opponent can just avoid you, and then you don't win. If you go for DHQ, you force a decisive battle, and that's how you make sure you at least have a chance, I guess.
I guess going for the HQ
you
makes it
can
simple. Yeah, Disobeyed.
you can force a fight on two fronts, but they both have fronts ultimately have to end at the HQ. You can't do what Go would love to do, which is be winning, have no time for the HQ, then try to win the racks on the other side of the map. You don't have time for that. What you have to do is you can make multiple threats on the map. They have to end at the HQ in like 2 to 3 turns though. Because if you don't have a lot of chest turn timer, you don't like the whole thing with front switching is in the game. Sure, it's pretty fast. It takes 1 to 2 turns. But in chest turn time, it takes like 5 minutes to 10 depending on like if you're at mid to late game. How worth it is it to do this? Do I just lose if I do? You don't have time to calc it if you have that low time.
Yeah, I guess it's like too advanced and too specific to be able to just give it a rule, because each situation is so different. But I guess yeah, the main idea is what Saykoya said. You know, just go for the HQ, regardless of how the game is going. If you have no time, right, and you're winning, of course.
Yeah,
Even if you're
if you
not
don't
winning,
have timer,
to
you have to go.
Even if you're not winning, yeah, as
Or
Saykoya said.
like you
HQ
can
or commander,
you can try to
whichever
go
one
for a
is the
commander.
better threat.
Yeah. So what Isabel said is that even if you're not winning, you should still go for the HQ if you have no time. So like time just decides your strategy, right? So like in a way, if you have no time, you have to do this. You can't do anything else, or you lose automatically. And if the opponent knows that, then you're kind of screwed because they're gonna protect the HQ with everything, right?
I mean, yeah, but like that's your
hopefully.
fault for not having time, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I love speed. That's a great way to win games. Okay, we went over. Yeah,
We should include Sneaky again.
yeah, sneaky.
Still alive.
You are being too sneaky. Anything you want to say?
Nah, I'm just being sneaky.
Okay.
No, I mean, I'm not the expert on. Yeah.
Okay, here's the
I'm
thing.
no expert on
Neither am
front
I, but we both have our own points of view, whether it's for this or for that. So we gotta try.
That's true. That's true. I can't think of anything else to say though. Like Saykoya is probably one of the best players at front switching, and honestly, it's something I try not to do. Like I'm doing it more lately because I'm just practicing, trying to get better at it. But I try not to front switch because generally, how do I put this?
What have you noticed when you're trying to practice front switching though? Like what's important about it, and what do you lose on immediately?
Yeah, what is
Yeah.
hard about it? 'Cause I can't know what's hard about it. I'm too good at it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So
See, even if you're new to it, we can still include you in this conversation.
mhm. So front switching messes up my flow. Like what I'm trying to do in the beginning of the game is either go for an objective or take economy or get a good position or get a good army. Like there are a lot of things you can go for, and I'm trying to do all of these things or some of them. But what front switching does is it makes me take my army that like I have here and I put it there for a reason and move it somewhere else where I didn't plan on it being, and then try to start a fight with my opponent. So these I think are the two biggest difficulties. Number one, you're moving your army. So you need to have an army and a position that can account for you moving your army without losing territory, without slowly moving a pike like you can't move a pike 6 spaces in front switch because it can only move through a turn. It's not going to make it in time. So are you leaving your pike behind? Are you bringing it with you? Do you have a balloon? Do you have a wagon? Or is it just going to stay there? Is it going to push forward? You have to treat your army differently in a front switch because they now all the little units now have different tasks. The second thing is that you're now starting a fight. You are starting a fight on the side of the map you are switching to. You're overwhelming your opponent there. So starting a fight is, I guess, into a position where your opponent was strong a moment ago isn't easy to do, and it's not something that I'm particularly great at. It's something Saykoya is very, very good at. So you want to position very defensively, but also very in your opponent's face, and that's another difficult component about it, judging where to put your units, where to create the switch. But I think these are two of the kind of more difficult components of front switching.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said you're better at this, and then you give the most detailed answer. That was actually a great answer. I love that. Like the part where you say each unit has a different role now that they're moving, and it's a part of a plan, not just like fighting and defending. So I love that.
I feel like you would know this better, Sneaky, because you also made a video on it. Whoever has to respond to the threat on the other HQ first loses, not because they had to front switch, it's because they front switched reactively. They front switched in a way where they lost space to then contest space that generally they should be theirs. So I think you would also know a little more on that than Sneaky or Sedgehun. Saykoya and Sedgehun. How many of you have a name starting with S here?
Yeah, this is the S team right here.
Hard.
I mean, you're
Come on,
probably
Team S.
Team S is not dying. We may have
Hey.
we may have lost Shu, but
My IRL name starts with S, so it's fine.
oh, okay, good enough. Then
Oh, okay.
I guess we accept you. But you need to
Fine.
get a membership fee of $10 a month because if it's not official name, then unfortunately we can't really agree to be part of the
Fine.
team.
We can give you a discount.
Okay, fine, discount. Yeah, that works enough. All right, I think that just about sums up the important stuff. But if you guys have anything else to
Right.
add,
I want to respond to Sneaky.
Yeah.
What he's describing is actually like, it's probably like the second situation I would front switch in, I guess. I was talking about one earlier.
Yeah.
where like the opponent can't take villages fast. The second one, and it's probably the most difficult one to pull off, I think, is when the opponent is like basically spreading evenly all across the map to like slowly take villages. What you're looking for in the front switch then is to actually start a fight, because if you front switch and the fight doesn't happen, then you will lose more terrain than your opponent will. Basically, because your opponent is spread out all over, it means if you concentrate your forces, you can have more units fighting. And if you kill stuff, that's great. It means it worked. If you don't kill stuff, that's bad, because your opponent has more villages now.
Yeah, I get you, but
Um,
these things are so hard to vocalize and imagine as we talk about it, because this is stuff that just goes on in our brains at like lightning speeds, and to at least for me, it's so hard to like vocalize it because I don't really think about anything. I just see the map and I just scan the map and that's it. I don't really have any plans.
I
I don't know.
mean, that type of front switching, you definitely have to. You definitely, in most cases, you will have to go. This is not the time. I'll do it later. But
Yeah,
when it is the time, you go for it. You have to be able to see that it's the time to go for it, you know?
yeah. I guess this is why I keep losing because I don't think about what I'm doing. I'm just scanning the stuff and then
Uh,
oh, this looks good. I
thinking is too hard.
I have to start thinking. Maybe then I might actually have a chance.
I don't understand how you two play this game. Like all I do is think. All I do is think about every single detail, and you guys are like, oh, I just do the most efficient thing. I don't think that much. Oh, I just go on instinct. I'm like,
Yeah, that's the
I
idea.
can't
Usually.
do that.
That's the
I
idea.
just see.
Exactly. Like I see a
The only
situation
club
where I
I'm
could do.
in-
Yeah.
The only club I'm in is the Play Fast Club, because I used to be in the don't know how to make an army fight an army for Jack, but I can see a lethal that should not be seeable. Like I was in that club with Sneaky for a while.
You were like an
Then I started to
assassin.
learn mechanics and just like army fights like 6 months before he started trying. So I didn't get put into either of those clubs, and now the only club I'm in is
I
turn
think
7. I still have 50 minutes left.
I remember like
You're
It's more
S
of an
at least.
autopilot thing where you remember this is how this map plays, but you also just get used to a unit. You understand how fast is this unit, and if my unit is all the way in the corner here, can it get to where the fight is in time?
this is interesting because everyone like looks at this in a different perspective, and this is the point of the podcast. Like I'm interested how people think about this, and I think everyone watching is interested how people think about this very complex topic. It's I guess it's like
Oh.
a personality thing, in a way. Yeah.
If you want, maybe I can talk. I mean, I guess the third situation, I lied.
Uh-oh.
The other situation wasn't the hardest to pull off. It's actually
He
this
lied.
one.
He lied. Yeah.
It's the fake front switch.
Yes. Yeah. You have to like act like you're front switching.
But
But
the
don't-
front switch we never talk about because no one still understands it.
It's the most complex situation. You have to make the opponent think you're front switching, but you're actually not.
No, basically, you have to prepare a front switch, so your opponent has to like respond to it.
And then you
It's
just don't go there.
it's pretty hard to describe, but basically,
It's very hard to
you look
describe.
at
It's
your
insane.
opponent's army composition. Like you look at the opponent's army, you go, he has this, that, here, over there, etc. Like you do all the time, right? That's
Yeah.
just constantly what you do.
Yeah, of course.
So, for example, you go, oh, his army is weak to knights on the right. You send more knights on the right,
Dogs. Oh yeah, nice.
and that's a light front switch. However, your opponent has to respond to it.
And sometimes
And
they will respond
thing
by
is, this
building
front
a
switch
unit, and then
doesn't-
you just go away. And then the unit, like, that actually reminds me, there was a
Yeah,
whole point I was going
the
to talk about
objective
and
of this-
not talk about, where
Okay.
you can force builds if you control a map well enough, who then leave that area. So now they've invested a lot of gold here that they can't take advantage of. Like, say they have to like make like a mage and a harpy for some reason, and so they can only build a sword on their other front. You can just still build a knight on both fronts and then just leave like the immediate threat of the mage and the harpy, and now it's like, but what are they doing?
Yeah, you
They
have to
just
make.
invested 1k for like units that don't do anything anymore.
Yeah, you have to make the opponent's units useless, essentially. That's the idea.
That is a good idea, but I like to talk more about it. But I want to hear
Yeah, of course.
what Saykoya was saying because I think it's a different concept.
Okay, Saykoya, you have the microphone.
Yeah. Okay, so I was saying, like, if you move certain units in your army, you don't have to move all of it. You just move a few to force, like, movement on your opponent's side, basically. And generally, you can do that with the more mobile units, like knights and dragons. And the interesting part about them is that knights and dragons have more movement than their counter units, like mages and spears. And because they have more movement, your opponent's response cannot be as clean as you just moving some knights and dragons and like pointing them at some villages. Because you're faster, the opponent will have to make a different play than just move the counter unit. And by looking at what they do, you also you have to be very attentive and spot some weaknesses. For example, they leave like one village less defended, you go for that. Or they like leave one sword stranded behind and you can kill it. And when you do that, you're not giving up much yourself, you're just moving your units. But that means you don't have to gain much in return. And so if you just do that like 3 or 4 times and you gain a small thing every time, eventually it'll add up and you can win the game.
See, stuff like this is what makes me
Yeah,
realize that there's no play styles in Wargroove, right? Like, there's like a player back in the day, I don't know if it was like Maestro, Thanos, someone like that, who said there's like 3 play styles, the Assassin, the Mechanic, and the Chaos, I think it was. But I don't think there's play styles. I think it's a million different colors that everyone puts into, that's unique to themselves, and each play style is different. There's no 2 similar play styles, I think. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. That's why in tournaments I try to practice with many players instead of just one, because
Yeah, definitely do
that
that.
way I don't miss anything.
Yeah, exactly. So there's no 2 similar playstyles. Like, that's just trying to make it too simple, something that's extremely complex. And that is why we love the game, I assume, because it's not something you can just calculate, right? There's so many different combinations and situations that change what combinations and situations are optimal and not. Whew. So I guess that's a great way to that's a great title to give to the overall stream. I guess not stream, but podcast. If there's anything else we want to add that's like important, feel free to say it. Otherwise, we can slowly start to wrap things up because it's just like a short podcast technically, even though it's like 2 hours almost.
Yeah, I think Sneaky wanted to say something.
Yeah. I saw his. Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah, Sneaky. Anything you'd like to say?
It wasn't that important. Just I think there used to be 2 or 3 core play styles.
No, that's important. Yeah,
I think,
of course.
like at the time, I had just sort of developed the assassin style, and a lot of players who really like going for commanders were starting to pick that up and go for similar things. And I didn't know any mechanics. A lot of other people doing the assassin stuff didn't know very good mechanics. And then you had the AWS players who were like, "Oh, I'm Advanced Wars by web. I play this game like it's Advanced Wars." Who would just hyper focus on villages and army formations and blunder their commander every single game. And then you had these like off the wall players who would do things that made no sense to any of us. and like rush the stronghold
Oh,
on turn
me.
3.
Asame, for sure. I think.
Yeah, Alsame.
He just completely broke the meta when he arrived. Like, people were like, "Oh my god, what? He's
Oh,
playing in
yeah,
such a different
Snake.
way," you know?
Snake played in such a weird way, and I'm still figuring out how the hell
Saykoya me
to fight him, because Snake's whole thing is he will do this HQ rush thing, and then he will play like Saykoya and do this overly defensive positional gameplay, win as slowly as possible, and it's like, you picked twins. What am I supposed to do? Because if I play slow and I play for the end game, I lose because I didn't respect the HQ. But if I play like fast and loose and respect the HQ and try to punish and end the game right there and then, his position is already done in such a way where, nope, you can't do that. You lost, and it's just this like flexibility in Mesha play styles that like made him such a dangerous player when he first came into the scene. And I think quite a few people are picking up how to do that. And
Yeah, these players just like change the meta. Well, like not change the meta, but like
Yeah.
they play besides the meta, and then the meta gets puts that into account, and
The
then people can
meta-
calculate.
molded around them. and
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not
that's a good way to
a
say it.
permanent imprint into it, pretty much.
Yeah, just like Shu with like the night spam and like some with like the vegan stuff. I don't know. There's many examples, honestly. Like Saykoya with his.
I want to say Maestro with how he will, because he also
He loves
he'll
golems,
hammer,
I mean-
but he'll 500,000 crystals and control the map with crystals.
Plus the golems, the freaking tanks, yo.
Sure.
Whew. Alright, Saykoya.
I don't know.
Very,
I think everyone likes spamming golems.
I hate golems. I'll be
I
honest
mean,
with you guys.
you created a niche Saykoya with Emmerich Balloon. That's so incredibly funny to me. You created an entire niche playstyle for a few maps of and balloons and pikes and mages, play Emmerich, make 2 crystals by turn 10, and not use any map control, and just be more cost efficient in your army, while having the better eco.
That wasn't the part that Saykoya added. The part that Saykoya added was the balloon under crystal as a body block. That was the
Yeah.
part that Saykoya added. You somehow realize that nothing can kill that efficiently, no matter what you do.
You just need 2 units. for
Yes,
it,
yes,
otherwise
yeah,
you
but on
destroy
Crystal.
it. And even then,
Wait, doesn't mage crit
Hey,
kill
hey.
a crystal balloon?
Okay, you
a
just
mage
need
has to
archer
touch
crit plus mage, and then it's a coin flip, okay?
Archer crit and mage.
See, it's that bad, Achun. This man created a horrible meta for everyone else to fight.
Maybe, what about a mage crit? Does a mage crit kill a balloon in a...
Mage crit works, mage crit works.
Okay, good. Thank you.
So
But
what
also,
he'll
like,
do-
don't put your balloon.
What he'll
Come
do
on.
instead is, instead of it being a balloon, it will be his commander or some other tanky unit. He'll probably...
I mean, that's how you play Emmerich, right? I mean, that's the idea of Emmerich.
Knight can't crit that.
I mean, Vals with Emmerich are insane. Like, okay, front switching with Emmerich. Can you?
Front switching with Emmerich.
Yeah, I mean,
it's really funny. 'cause
yeah, you
it's
can't really put
really
down your
funny,
crystal.
yeah.
If you put down the crystal, then that's the front you chose. Like, you can't really change that unless you're a Saykoya and you
Unless you're
choose.
Saykoya.
Unless you charge the groove in like 2 turns, yeah, then you can't do it again. But you know. Oh. All right. Do you guys want to add anything else? Anything at all? We can expect more podcasts in the future. This is just like a Kickstarter.
And expect random
A
people.
Kickstarter.
Yes, a Kickstarter of the podcast coming in for the new Aurania.
A Kickstarter podcast for a new game that is definitely new.
Yes.
I don't know what you mean when you say this game is just a sequel to another game.
Sneaky, I see you have taken the tape off your mouth. Anything you would like to say?
And I had several different ideas of how to respond to calling this a Kickstarter when it doesn't
Yeah.
make money and we have no product.
Yeah. That's the
I
idea.
didn't think about that part.
That's the idea. Alright, I guess to wrap things up.
I mean,
Yeah, it's like Saykoya.
Where's our pay?
Yeah. They do. Final words by
no,
Saykoya.
I was just gonna say it's a Kickstarter if you use the literal term of the word, but yeah.
Kicks. So we kick the start?
Okay, if it is.
Do we have to kick the start
Mm.
button? Or what do you mean by that?
Started.
Sorry, I'm silly. I don't understand what you mean by that. You have to explain it to me.
Okay. So basically, Kickstarter,
Yes, explaining it.
like the meaning of the word is to like begin something,
I don't English.
and because like there's this whole like Kickstarter model, like Kickstarter funding thing, then it's become more associated to like that.
Yeah,
but-
yeah, it's like a money thing, I guess.
The word originally meant to start something, right?
Okay, so I guess I use the original meaning. Yeah, let's assume I'm
Yes.
assume I did.
We're not native, but we use the original.
Yes, because yeah, we're both not native. All right, for the final note, who's the best commander? Let's start from Disobeyed. Best commander,
Okay.
best commander.
I have so
Yes.
many questions. Are we?
No questions. Best commander.
excluding- No. Are we excluding Ryota?
Nope. Best commander.
By tournament.
Best
Wait.
commander.
Best commander!
1 second.
5 seconds left.
Oh, he has 100% competitive against himself. including other
Damn, that was my pick.
creators. No, we can still have the same opinion.
Okay, Saykoya, best commander.
Nuru is the most fun commander to play.
Okay. All right. Okay.
In the bad.
All right.
Hey, it's your turn.
Do I really have to say? Sedge, SneakyDragon, you.
Best
Five.
commander. I'm just gonna be boring and say Yoda because he's
Oh,
Wargroove 2. Maybe we'll find
yawn.
Mm,
Woo. Wait, I got some Rotten Tomatoes around here. Let me just
First
find them.
of all, we got Nero, we got Sedge, and then we just have the actual correct.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Nobody likes
boo.
Yes.
it.
Okay, and now finally, best unit. Fast.
The damage is fixed though.
I don't know, but fast unit, best unit. Go. You can choose one unit. You have 5 seconds. 4, 3.
Wait,
Two.
shouldn't it be Saykoya now? Since that was first last time.
Okay, fine. Saykoya, you're first. Best unit.
Yeah.
Balloon.
Yes. Okay. Good.
Yeah, 'cause that's what I was gonna say, and I was
Yeah.
like, it's different.
Sneaky. Best unit. We have to ask him. What?
Now, the dragon's been nerfed now. So
Yeah, exactly. So.
frog unit.
Oh wow, Sneaky not choosing the dragon when he had the opportunity to do so.
Frog. Damn, I didn't
Okay.
think of the frog.
Yes.
Did
I,
you say a unit, Sechun?
what?
Did you say a unit?
I haven't. I'm gonna say it now. Archer. Disobeyed. You next.
Which mage and sword are the units that come to my mind?
I was gonna say mage, but archer is a little bit more on my favorite side. Okay, thank you for.
Okay, I go with which then.
Yeah. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little podcast, which kind of went off chair, but it doesn't really matter, right? Because anything.
Yeah, we're kickstarting.
Yeah, we are kickstarting.
editing.
Yes,
No fucking
yes.
at all.
We are kickstarting a new season of Groove of War podcast in the future. I hope the community gets back together once again, just like in 2019. And I wish I'll see you guys. As in, like, huge amount of numbers.
You
Yeah.
keep saying Groove of War. Just a little. Just because I can't like let you go uninterrupted.
Oh.
You keep saying Groove of War. The name's probably gonna change.
Oh, it's gonna change. Okay, I had no idea. I'm probably like the least educated about the news here, but for some reason I'm the one who has to run the group.
Yeah, podcast group, whatever.
Yeah, alright. Thank you guys for watching. Bye bye. You guys can say your bye byes too.
Bye.
See ya.
Sneaky, you are a classic.
And remember, welcome to Wargroove.
Welcome to Wargroove 2.
Say the catchphrase. I mean, it's Wargroove 2 now. I can't say that anymore. It doesn't work.
Yeah, you have to change it right now. You have 5 seconds.
Hey, welcome back
Yeah.
to Wargroove.
Welcome back to Wargroove. That's a good one. Alright, bye guys.